following things that even though we try and even though we tell you, these are the main things we identify that people need to improve once we do the training in the office. So even people that do a lot of DSD, people that are doing 50, 60, 100 cases a year with us, we identify that these are the things that are harder to do. Why do you do DSD? There's the skepticism between front desk hygiene, the girls that you don't bring to the courses, so we explain that. Taking pictures and better records, how to digitalize the patients. We can talk this about enough. Is Tatiana Coach Mahim? Tatiana tells me all the time, JJ, in the courses, you need to teach better how to scan, how to take the picture. And like, Tatiana, I've taught the DSD picture protocol 150 times. People know how to take the pictures. That's why I tell her, and she's like, you don't know the pictures we get. People don't know how to take pictures. So we go through the whole pictures, we do everything. You think you know, but it's really hard to get the right pictures. And again, the better the documentation we get, because they're not our patients. We're here. The guys designing are here. They haven't seen your patients. Our smile design can only be as good as your documentation because we haven't seen the patient, right? Who does what? This is huge. In the practices, we always say name one coordinator. If the practice is too big, maybe you need two, maybe you need three. And the different tasks are going to be different for the girls. Downplay the moment of the mock-up. Christian says this in the residency all the time. And we see this when we go to the practices, that the day of the mock-up, or some people do mock-up Thursdays, mock-up Tuesdays, they have 10 patients lined up in a row. We place the mock-up and everybody's so excited because normally the change is big, there's a huge transformation, that the team gets so excited that everybody starts looking at the patient saying, oh my God, you look amazing. Oh my God, this is incredible. And you have, if you think from the patient standpoint, first, you haven't seen yourself. Second, you have something that's very bulky in the mouth. It feels funny. You talk funny. Your lip is in a different position. And you have 10 girls looking at you like this, screaming, oh my God, you look amazing. And then if the pictures you take of the moment of the mock-up are not good enough, then the patient's going to be a little disappointed because the expectations you create at the moment are so high. So we always tell them, downplay the moment of the mock-up. Of course, the single biggest challenge, and I have done most of the consultancies myself. Now we have a team of 6 people doing them. Lindy, Luca, Carmen, Jose Luis, Williams, everybody.
JJ, can I add one comment on what you said, because it's very
Yes.
important. The key here, downplay, and we talk about it and we emphasize because the excitement happens and sometimes we scare patients with our excitement. The key is that your initial comments or impressions or the faces of your team looking at the patient with the mock-up has to always be less impactful than the pictures that you took after. So if you create a certain vibe like, okay, you're looking cool, the mock-up is very nice, you're gonna enjoy it in a very sober way. Why? Because you're giving room to yourself to not drop the energy when they see the picture. The pictures need to create an even bigger impact, right? So play safe, because sometimes the pictures are not that great, sometimes the patient is not that photogenic, sometimes you're not that inspired with your little video, sometimes the light is not great. Of course, the training also gives you, and that's what is the beauty of going to your office, because going to your office, our team will see how to create the best environment, because it's easy for us to put the very environment here. You learn everything, but then you go, your room is different, the layout is different, the blueprint is different, your technology is different, the connections are different. So we need to adapt to whatever you have. So we're gonna make the best setup for you to take the best pictures ever. And you can get all the way to the level that Jesus is. And Jesus, we're gonna present, we should present one of the Jesus
The fast data load are pictures.
Yeah. So let's present what is your golden standard, okay? The highest level you can get as emotional presentation builder, okay? And the best example is, we have it here, Jesus, that is right there. So let's set that as a goal, and then let's practice, and the template will make your life easier to get as high as possible to that level. But it's a journey. Of course, you're gonna improve your skills on the angle of the picture, then you're gonna start learning what moment of the video to pick, how to pick fast so the patient is not waiting, right? How to change the light, how to adapt to the limitations of the markup, because every markup has its own limitations. It's not the ideal design, it's the motivation design. Some angles that you look at the markup is bulky, the markup it doesn't look nice, the markup is flaring out, there's some gaps, sometimes the markup breaks from one side, so you need to show from the other side. Oh my God, when you do thousands of markup, you become an expert on not doing the markup, but an expert on presenting the markup, right? So as you become better presenting the markup, you understand that you're raising the bar, and then you can increase the steepness of the wow, right? But to play safe, start down here and don't jump. Let your staff understand that we need to pretend is not special at all. That's the best way.
And to complete what Christian was saying, after we did all the trainings, we know that the emotional presentation, and that's what we have the hands on now, is the single biggest challenge of DSD implementation. We go to the practices and we're like, okay, what's your conversion rate for DSD? And some people tell me it's 35%. So 35% of the mock-ups are percent, I close the case. And that's unacceptable. And I'm like, okay, why? Let me see, how do you show the patients the mock-up? And then they just do a picture before and after, or they just do one video and the video is 10 seconds, the video stops. So that's why we put so much emphasis into this, because we know the difference. And Christian said this the other day, he changed the names. I said this about Christian said it the other day about another person. But I challenge you to think this way. Okay, I go to your practice, Sheena, let's be your example. And I go to your practice in Vancouver, and Sheena tells me she does all the cases with us. She's great. Her presentation is great. And she tells me, okay, Sheena, how was your conversion rate before I went to Vancouver with DSD cases? And she tells me it's around 40%. And then I tell her, okay, let's pretend one thing. Do the mock-ups work? Do you think the mock-ups are beautiful? Are they facially integrated? Do they look good? And she tells me yes. And then I say, okay, let's just pretend for a second, for the sake of conversation, what if, instead of you and your staff taking the pictures and doing everything, what if Christian was here and you have done 55 cases with us? You have 40% conversion rate. What if Christian Cochran was here, he took the pictures, he put the presentation together, and he explained the treatment to the patients? What would be your conversion rate? And then she says,
100%.
Right. Christian said it the other day in Phoenix in a lecture with John Coyce. He said, okay, what if John Coyce was here explaining your treatment plan to your patients? Would they understand what you're going to do? Would they accept? Of course they would. Then we know that the problem and the challenge is your treatment plan presentation. Because patients, when you explain a treatment, they need to take a leap of faith in you and your skills. And as much as you may know about occlusion, the patient has no skill set to understand if you know or not about occlusion, right? So you gotta be better at presenting the cases, and that's why we'll do the hands-on. The two other things to improve are closing the deal. There's a lot of people that are scared to talk about money. From dentists, normally they hate talking about money and payment plans, etc. I have my thoughts on this. But some of your staff, if you have been doing normal dentistry before, or you're not used to selling super comprehensive big cases, some of your staff members are not comfortable talking with patients about a $65,000 treatment, right? Closing the deal is a huge barrier, and then that's what Jess is the best in the world. And then of course the clear next steps. So we give the residency, then we say, okay, there's people that still don't implement DSD big enough, we'll create something, we do the consultancy, but still, these are the things that we identify the consultancy that are still not great. So that's why we created this coordinator course that is just for dental staff. And we, this is, sorry, whoops. It's not a curse, it's a course. I'm not gonna say it's on my slide, but it's on my slide.
Last night was a curse.
Last night was a curse, buddy. It's your fault. So we created this program. It's just for dental staff. I don't know if you know this, but you are not only not invited, you are not allowed in the room. We have done this course just once in Miami. We're doing it in a couple of weeks in Madrid, and then we're doing another Madrid and Miami in the fall.
The only dentist is me and Lindy.
The only dentist allowed in the room, Christian
And
is not allowed to
looking,
come
and
in. This is true. The only dentists are Jackie and Lindy that are teaching because they have worked as coordinators and they say on the first day, I'm not a dentist today and tomorrow. I'm just like you. And we created the course for the staff to really, it's very, very hands-on, very specific, step-by-step, everything they need to do. And let me show you a video of the one we just did in Miami a couple of weeks ago.
Put the microphone on top. Start again.
Very first day, a couple hours into it, I texted the doctor, one word, wow, all caps. That's all I can say, wow.
Digital smile design changed my life, and it just made so much sense for us to develop this course to give other auxiliary staff members and hygienists, and we have all kinds of people here today, front office people and nurses, to change their lives to become practice growers and not just people that work in dental clinics.
Our boss sent us here to gather information, see what we think about it, and then bring the information back home. And I have to say we were blown away, my colleague and I were blown away by the course, the energy, the information. I texted him yesterday when I was running the course saying we need to go to Dsd clinic, we need to bring this back home.
I think one of the best things and important things that you learned today is how to do a very simple and excellent first appointment. And then you learn how to do a very fast and live simulation and try to bring the patient on board to participate into the Dsd process.
This presentation just simplifies everything and really delivers a system that makes it easy for patients to understand.
Dsd is impossible to do by yourself. If you don't have a Dsd coordinator, you're never going to be able to do this, okay? Because it's complicated, but a Dsd coordinator can make it more simple. I think here it's amazing because you learn real steps on how to take a patient through an experience. That's what Dsd is, and it's so powerful.
Oh my goodness, it's a game changer. Like, totally game changer. It's one of the best courses I've been to. It's nice getting ideas on the lunch break, and all the speakers are off. I think it will make us more efficient, hopefully get better case acceptance, or not dragging things out too long in the appointments, and just, you know, to be more comfortable and more confident with it. They want you to be successful, and they're going to teach you every trick and tip to make you successful.
Nice.
It's so cool to give a course without Christian. It's amazing.
It was amazing.
We're on time, you know.
Yeah, like today.
It was amazing for me as well. To be at home.
Right? And so we've created this program. It's really helpful. The guys that send people, we saw Peggy's staff, Sheena's staff, James' staff speaking in his testimonials. And do you feel that they've learned? Are they happy? Like, did you? It's night and day. Yeah. But so and then there's 5 things I think, right? That we don't let them live without. We play this on the first day we start the course with this slide and we end the course with this slide. And these are the 5 things they cannot live without knowing. And you know, these guys are Porsche and Rolls Royce, they know what they're doing and they know what they're selling. So he's trying to bring that into dentistry and I think he has a lot to say. So no further ado, Chris.
Turn it on. Nope. Nope.
Can you hear me now?
Nope.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, JJ. So like he said, I'm a clinic account manager. So I'm in the office down in Miami. So I came on DSD a couple months ago to really kind of bring in something a little bit different than just dentistry because I really enjoy and I really love marketing and being a car enthusiast and working with some of these brands, it allowed me to really bring in a fresh approach, because at the end of the day, I think that automotive companies do some of the best marketing possible. And so the clinic's marketing program is really a combination of the Miami team and then also the incredible team run by Brendan. So even, for example, I have to give them a shout out for even like these slides and putting these together with the images and stuff. The team in Liverpool is absolutely incredible. So it's a combination between us and Liverpool about some really great stuff that we do. So today I'm going to start off with some social media stuff, because a lot of people think, okay, so I need to get on social, but do I really need to get on social? What even is social media? Are my patients there? Does it make a difference? And it's a really big and confusing world. So I really like to break it down, even what is social media, how do we help the clinics out, and then also what you can do on social media to help you out in your clinic. So in terms of must-have social media platforms, there's tons and tons and tons out there. Of course, everyone talks about Facebook, they talk about Instagram, they talk about the big, cool, the nice ones. But what people don't realize is LinkedIn is social media. A lot of companies do a ton of marketing on LinkedIn, and if you think about your personas and who actually has some of the money that can really afford a lot of these higher end, more treatments, they're on LinkedIn and they're business professionals. So you need to be on LinkedIn. So there are some really important things. Apple Maps profile, I'm sure many people here have built out their Apple Maps profile. On the iPhone, the native application for Maps is going to be the Apple Maps. So if your address is wrong, if your times are wrong, when people talk to Siri, they're not going to get to the right address. They're not going to find you. There's a lot of different things. And what's different about Apple Maps is, does anyone know that it actually uses Yelp as its review system? So you could have perfect scores across for Google, but if someone searches dentist in their area on Apple Maps and you come up, it uses your Yelp score, not your Facebook or Google score. So Yelp is another thing that's really important. So all these small and big things, it's pretty incredible, and it's a lot of time, and it's very time consuming. So that's why I usually say these are the most important ones that you need to focus on. But then if you're really good at social media, or if you have a really good rock star in your practice, you can get into things like YouTube, Twitter, podcasts. I love podcasts. This presentation could not have happened without the podcasts I listen to and from work every day, because what you also have to think about, and I was listening to a couple of different clinics, they say, oh, I'm a clinic owner, I'm a dentist, I'm a CMO, I'm a CEO. We also have to realize that you're also entrepreneurs, which means that you should be listening to about other entrepreneurs and what they're doing. Because podcasts like Business Casual that I listen to that brings upon these entrepreneurs, a lot of it is very applicable to what you guys are doing. And that's also something that you guys can get into too. So I want to talk about a lot of these different social media platforms that we do, and then also local markets like TikTok, WeChat, and Line. So when you think social media, all of this comes to mind. And it's completely mind-boggling. It's way too much to think about. I mean, people go to college for 4 years to master this. People get paid billions of dollars to understand this. So really, how do you implement this in your practice if you're already taking care of QuickBooks, you're already taking care of your patients, your staff, your management, HR? How do you actually understand really how to do all of this? So with the clinics, we give a social media consultation. So it's something really cool that I actually sit down with the clinic, and I sit down either with the owner, the practice manager, whoever, and we go through all of the different social medias and making sure that they're all set up in accordance. But what's really nice is that I like to sit down and listen to what's important to your clinic, because you also have to think about your personas. Talking to some of the clinics here, they're really weak on Instagram and Facebook, and that's where they really want to target, because maybe they want to start to do some more DSD-like dentistry. So they want to start to get some of the more millennials who might not have the full amount of income to get full veneers, but DSD-like dentistry is perfect for them. And then I'm talking to some who are in San Francisco, who have some of the coolest tech company millennials there are, but now they're struggling to get some of the business professionals. So for them, I'm going to sit down and we're going to create a complete strategy based completely just off of LinkedIn. And so today, I'm going to give you guys a mini little consultation for the masters, and then for the clinics, we can sit down 1, 2, 3 times and go through everything. Because what I found is, and we'll go through the slides, I like to have a lot of fun with my clinics. So what you're going to see is I shout them out, and there's going to be a lot of different ones. And some of the most successful ones are because of I have these social media consultations. with them almost every day, and some of them even text me at 1 in the morning to make sure that the post is cool. And so we always go through. It's all right. Yeah, just send me text messages. It's fine. So in terms of the big four, so the big four that I think are the most important, if this is all you're going to focus on, you just need to nail these ones. And that's going to be your Facebook page, your Instagram profiles, your LinkedIn, and your Google/Apple Maps. At the end of the day, these are the four ones that you need to be paying attention to, and they need to be filled out correctly and set up correctly. That's because things like your business Facebook page, make sure it's a business page and it's not just a profile. You'll be surprised how many people mess that up. You want to be able to follow it, not add as a friend. But you also want to do cool things like add a services tab. So on the services tab, you might want to start to put things beyond just DSD, but you can put some of your other things to get people in the door. So like teeth whitening, any type of hygienist type of stuff. Those are also really important to put on there because it lets people know, A, what you offer, but it also saves you time and money. So you don't have to worry about someone coming in, making an appointment, and maybe you don't even offer that service. Because the thing about social media too is you're casting a very wide net. And when you cast a wide net, you're going to get a lot of things that you might not necessarily want. So if you can qualify those individuals before they even come in the door, it's just going to save you a lot of time and also save you a lot of money. Facebook also has some really cool tools on there, depending on how your office runs. You can have people actually book appointments directly on Facebook as well. And it's also very important because social media, and including your website as an extension, it's really it validates your clinic. And so, just to warn you guys, you're going to be car experts by the end of this because all my analogies are cars. But think about when you go to buy cars, right? You might be on cars.com, you might be on whatever service, and you find one that you really like. But then you go to their Instagram page or their Facebook page or their website, and you say, this looks really sketchy. All of you have one line of content, and then you hit the more, and then you can expand. You need to capture them in one line. But on Facebook, you actually have the ability to write a paragraph. It's much more of a longer community, totally different voice. So the difference that we did for him, for example, Facebook post. Say hello to Lynn. Lynn is one of our most recent patients to receive a smile makeover from Dr. Alistair at Mona Vale. For years, Lynn has been dreaming and so on and so forth. So that's Facebook. Instagram. Say hello to Lynn, the co-author of her brand new smile. Right away, you read that in one line, and you say, whoa, wait, co-author of her, what does that mean? So now you're already engaged. So now you're going to read the full story. You're going to check out the post. You're going to go to their profile. It's something that's much more grabbing because it's different. And then on LinkedIn, completely different. The practice will post it, and then Dr. Alistair will share the post and say, this case was truly a joy to work on. Lynn had been debating moving forward with natural restorations for a couple of years, and I'm unable to commit. And then he talks about the mock-up and how it was successful, and he talks about on a much clinical level as opposed to this fun meet Lynn level. And so we deliver this to all the clinics. All they have to do is send it to me, because I think patient stories are really good because it allows them to see themselves. And what you really want to do this with is your personas. So when someone walks in the door and you say, I'm selling a lot of cases to this particular type of person, maybe I should start to market to this group. So that's when you go ahead and you start to create these different personas, pick 3 or 4, and then create these patient stories based off of them, because that's what's really going to get you good content. Also, I want you guys to think outside the practice. So I was actually having this conversation. There's a really good commercial that was played for American football Super Bowl a couple years ago, and it was by Hyundai. And essentially, the guy he passed away, and he got into the elevator, and he was going through the 7 levels of hell. And actually, level 3 or 4 was a dental appointment. The elevator opened up, and there was a saw going, and they said, nobody, not you, not yet. And then they got to the lowest level, and it was a car buying experience, because that's the worst thing you can do. But everyone knows this, including car companies. So when you go to Porsche's Instagram, do you see someone in a dealership? Do you see someone walking around a dealership or trying to buy that? No. You see a beautiful car driving down California, driving through the Swiss Alps, because that's what they want to imagine. They don't want to imagine sitting in a dealership. They don't want to imagine that whole process. They want more. So when you are able to grab content that's outside of the practice, that's really what's going to get you. Because now, of course, and this is DFY, Nicola's great, so there's a lot of them on here because of their practice manager. But look, so now this girl, if this was in a practice, of course, it looked beautiful, it looked great, I'm sure you'd get great engagement. But now, I see this, I'm in Miami, very trendy city, looks very much like Sydney, and I would say, you know, if I was at brunch, I would want those teeth. And so what happens now is that she posted this super cool photo, something very engaging, great content that people like, because social media is an escape. It shouldn't be, if I'm at work, no offense, when I'm at work, I want to be scrolling through and I want to see.
Why are you scrolling at work, man?
On lunch. I want to see a Rolls Royce driving through the Swiss Alps. I don't want to see my friend sitting there on a computer pretending to make a phone call. I want to see something that's going to get me away from it. So if someone's at work and they're at lunch, they're able to see this, it's so much more engaging. If they're going to stop, they're going to look at it. But what's really good is that here you can see this is the individual, and then this is Dr. Fadi. And so you're actually able to use this content on your own Instagram, because the hardest part is getting content. So don't do the work, make your patients do the work. And so another thing that I wanted to do, so I did a little experiment. And so I looked at another dental company that makes billions of dollars, who pays millions of dollars for advertisers, Align. Not one individual is in a dental office. They're all outside, smiling, having a great time, living their best life. And so now you might ask, well, how do I get that? That's not exactly easy. And I'm going to speak first for the US market because it depends on your own market. But some things that clinics do is we all hear about influencer marketing. And to be honest with you, unless you get Kim Kardashian, it's worthless. It doesn't work. You need to look at it as not this is going to get me leads and patients and financial gain. You need to look at working with these people as it's going to get me content. Which means that realistically, you have to adjust your budget for that. So doing cool little things like a 25 gift card to the local pub, or a $20 or $30 Amex cards, that way they can go out and say, hey, we're part of this influencer program. Immediately their eyes are going to perk up and go, oh my God, you think I'm an influencer? You think I'm that cool? Already they're interested. And so you say, so we're doing this program. If you send us 5 pictures of you smiling out at brunch or at the beach or you with your friends, we'll give you a $30 Amex card. And so then you're getting 5 photos that you can use for your content. But the good thing is that because the photos are so cool, they're going to post it to their own Instagram. So just like you see here, and then they're tagged as they're smiling. So it's a great way to just make it easy so you don't have to worry about these things. And if someone walks into your practice and says, I'm famous, give me free treatment, don't do it because they're guarantee you they're lying. So some of my favorite apps that I like to use for all of this, you can see here. So you have some that are for editing, adding filters. So I added these to Dr. Alistair's photos. Repost, Brendan touched upon this yesterday. This is really great. So do this for either your patients, but also for DSD content. So whenever you repost our own content, what's cool is that it actually has the DSD logo in the bottom left-hand corner. So that way you can associate yourself with us and really distinguish yourself as well. Story Chic. This is how I've been making all the stories for that you saw on my own stories, as well as Dr. Alistair and some of the other clinics. I watermark, super important, add your logo to every photo. Every photo should have your logo in it. It doesn't need to be big and brash, it can just be in the corner. It's completely free, and just add it on. Retouch, this will just be able to take things out of the photo. So say you have a patient, you're super excited, the mock-up or the final presentation looked great, you take the photo, and then there's some blur in it, there's something awkward, you just put it over, delete, and then you're all set. The photo looks incredible. And then if you're a real professional, thank you, Val, you can actually go in here and plan out your Instagram stories. So that's all social media. But one thing that we're doing with the clinics too is paid media. So this is a really scary concept to a lot of people. But what's really cool is that you can use micro-targeting to reach them. Okay. So paid media is Google AdWords, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, anytime that you're paying for an advertisement online. And so what's really powerful about this is, and actually in the United States, we're dealing with the political landscape of this because we have politicians who use this because on Facebook, if you have identified your persona, you get a little bit of training about how to use this. And when I saw her post this, I was like, oh my God, I was like, Nicola, thank you, this is amazing. And so exactly what we talked about before. She used the app's story sheet. She took the photos from that same girl, and then she created this whole story. And it's absolutely beautiful, it's absolutely on brand. Everyone who's on Instagram, who's this girl's demographic, is gonna say, oh my God, I need this. This is absolutely incredible. So this is just a few things that the clinics are doing. So I hope this was helpful. If you're a clinic, please see me after if you want to do any of this. But hope this helped out you guys. If you have any questions, let me know, and then.
That was great. You guys enjoyed?
Thanks.
Powerful, powerful, Chris. Very, very well summarized. We know it's a whole world. We can go for 10 years of school to learn all, but the key is, I believe, as an office owner, is to have this big picture, understanding that these things are out there, and find the right support to implement some smart strategies to take advantage of it. As we know, what is the number, JJ? I believe it's, I saw the study, I think you showed me, more than 80% of people nowadays find their doctors. 86% of modern consumers will find their dentist online, will reach out or evaluate or compare possible dental offices online. 86%. Remember that most of the people here have been practicing dentistry for more than 10 years. Maybe 20 years. And 10 years ago, probably 86% of patients coming to you were coming to you through word of mouth, old school. So in 10 years, everything absolutely changed completely. And I can use our story or my father's story, right? You have a dentist that is in business for more than 100 years, the office, successful in every single decade in history. On the 20th century, Coachman Clinic was always at the top. For sure, one of the best clinics in São Paulo. Word of mouth was always amazing because my father is very charismatic and the team was always very good. So you can't get much better. That's a work there with us. You can't get much better in terms of impressing people and creating word of mouth. And Jackie can share that with you guys. Today, we will go bankrupt if we don't do anything. And even a doctor like my father is having to reinvent himself in terms of how can we attract more people, you know? So you have the top clinic with the top charismatic, with ultra high quality treatments, with very fair price. It's not that my father is ultra expensive, very fair price that has been successful for decades. And suddenly today, on the last few years, we've been seeing like a huge change on behavior and a huge change on how people are selecting dental offices. Very, very difficult to bring new people on board. It's like all the doctors from my father generation are like, what the hell is going on? You know, where are these people? You know, São Paulo is not less successful city. There's more rich people than ever in the city. Where are these people going? You know, where are the young 30, 40 years old that are already making money and smart people that can understand that they need to take care of their smile? Where the hell are they going? So I believe that, unfortunately, and I always say that, I don't say that, oh, this is super cool, let's do marketing. unfortunately, because I would rather be at the time of my grandfather and not care about this damn thing and just do good dentistry and have fun treatment planning and have people talking about us and just more people coming like always in history. But unfortunately, this is not happening. So we need to move fast. We have an advantage. I believe that every dentist, every Dsd dentist has an advantage. Because I don't know a company that has been investing on understanding the changes. Actually, we have now, and what proves that makes us very proud is some of the top dental companies now are coming to us to say how you guys are doing this, how you're understanding the markets, what is the next trend, how behavior is changing, right? And the best company in the world doing this, as Chris mentioned, is Align. And what makes us even more proud is that Align is paying us to consult for them in terms of how can we make a better dental marketing. Align is reposting our posts. That never has happened in history. Align is reposting our stories. So you guys as Dsd experts, take advantage of it, don't allow a dentist that is pretending he knows Dsd be the first one to spread the word in your city, in your community, because that is happening as well. We are not the only smart people around, There's a lot of smart people looking for the shortcuts, not really delivering good dentistry, but understanding the tricks, listening to the stories, replicating the stories. So own the stories. As we always say, the first mover advantage. We have, and I would invite you to, as you go out for the coffee break now, behind this first TV, there's a whole wall called Dsd Storylines. There's more than 100 new stories that dentistry is providing in terms of cool new things that we can do to patients. And of course, we are very proud to also be part of many of the creation of all these new solutions. So we need to be the spokesman of these stories, because as we learn from marketing, there's a huge benefit from taking advantage of being the first mover and take advantage of being the first mover advantage to your office. The thing that I always say is that unfortunately, first mover advantage doesn't go to the best dentist, doesn't go to the dentist that invented an idea, doesn't go even to the dentist that was the first one to do that in town. It goes to the smart ass that was the first one to talk about it and spread the word. That's how business works, unfortunately. So who is the one owning the story in your city? If we have new stories, almost 100 new stories, who are the people in your city, in your community, that will own these stories in the next 3 to 5 years? And the owners of the stories will not be the first one, but will be the one that is louder, the one that is spreading the word through social media, right? So that's why we understand how important it is to take advantage of these channels. Use the stories, spread the stories, own the hashtags. When people look for these things, you need to be all over. You can't allow somebody, Dsd Natural Restoration, Smile Donator, Google your city, and somebody else shows up. You missed the point. You missed the opportunity. Somebody took advantage of it, because we believe that as we study human behavior, we understand what people are searching online, and as people search online, somebody will pop up. Okay? So you have the right to be at the top, to be at the first bridge. You invested time and energy to be here several times. You are actually delivering these solutions. You're not going for the shortcut. You're actually investing on the whole journey. You deserve to be the master of all these stories in your city. So read the stories, memorize the stories, and look for help. Ask for our support if you need to take advantage of these stories. Okay? Huh? So we're gonna do a quick coffee break. Grab a coffee. 15 minutes sharp. Come back. We're gonna start the hands-on.
Sí, ya me escucho. La cámara.